Nerd News Cafe, Stir It Up, with Matt, Landon, and Justin.
Get ready to stir it up. It is round 37. And I hope
37?
37. I said it real slow so that way it could sink in. Just
Try
kind
not
of
to suck any d***s on your way
neurons.
through the parking lot.
That's
Yay,
right.
somebody got my reference.
Nice. So, yeah. Here we are, and I guess we're doing things in the parking lot already. This is
Yep.
Matt.
We're taking it to the streets, bitches.
I'm drinking apple cider, and happy Halloween. This is Justin.
And we're all part of the Heartbreakers. My name is Landon Doan.
We are.
The Heartbreak Foundation. No, the Heart Foundation. Sorry.
That was the Heart Foundation. Yeah. Not the Heartbreak Foundation,
Or we're starting
Which-
the Heartbreak Foundation.
which we won't back down from. So,
Exactly. You can stand us up at the gates of hell, but we won't back down.
R.I.P.
right.
Tom Petty.
Seriously, that's how awesome Tom Petty was. There were the reports that he died, and then there were reports that he didn't die.
I
Like,
know.
Tom Petty died twice. He literally went to the gates of hell and did not stand down.
There you
Not
go.
to
Rest
make
in peace,
fun of
Tom Petty.
But it made me feel like that skit from Monty Python. Oh, he's totally dead. No, I'm getting better. No, he'd be stone cold dead in a moment. You know, I was like, what are we doing to Patty? Who is
want to
hurting?
go on the cot?
I don't want to go to God. Isn't there something you can do?
Yeah.
So it is Thursday. It is
Thursday.
nice. I hope it's nice. It's nice where I'm at. That's a lie. It's raining. So how
It's
you
fall
guys feel?
break locally, and
I know.
it being Thursday and Friday, I'm off work the next 2 days. Woo! Long weekend, baby.
There you go.
We're going to be going
Well, I
over...
was off.
Go ahead.
I was off for Columbus Day, which Indigenous Oppressor Day.
No, we don't get off
But-
for Columbus Day. Banks are
I do
closed,
for
though.
some odd reason.
Yeah, they closed the banks for Columbus Day. Did you know that?
Mhm.
Well, they probably don't want people who celebrate to steal from. I don't know why we
It's
close the
weird.
banks for Columbus Day. I don't
All,
really know.
all government buildings are closed as well. And I know that because my girlfriend's parents are in town to sign over a car. Guess what's closed on Monday? Yeah.
Gotcha, bitch.
Gotcha.
I'm going to be celebrating by finding something that was already found and claiming it for myself.
There you go. In the true
Actually-
spirit of the holiday.
Recent information is you can't get out of your car when you do it. You send other people to do it for you
That works.
because he didn't get off the boat, from what I heard.
Why would he?
Yeah, he
How
has
would
people
you?
to do that.
It's a captain.
If I was a captain, I'd never leave the boat.
You send red shirts to do all your dirty work.
Yeah. That's
Captain does
exactly
not
the
go
way
away
you do
teams.
it. R.I.P. Tom Petty.
Oh, sorry, Tom.
Oh, speaking of Andy McDowell, here's some more evidence, and I know we weren't, but this is just a fun segue.
Okay, I was about to say, did I miss a segue or something?
Anytime I feel like there's a lull in the podcast, I'm going to go back to Andy McDowell.
Okay, all right,
Oh,
good to know.
God, no more Andy McDowell talk. We've had this
Continue our
conversation.
war.
In the continuing debate on whether or not she's supposed to be an attractive person,
Didn't you get that cease and desist letter?
not yet, but once I do, I'll act like I didn't get it. Personally, if you're looking at hair color, she has dark, like black hair, and I prefer dark hair. So that's another
Depends
check
on
in
the
the
movie.
that's another check in the attractive column. So there you go. What's the tally now? Check the scoreboard.
Scoreboard.
Probably 4 in the pros,
And?
several thousand in the cons.
No, come on.
Wow.
There's one big one where Matt called her Skeletor. That's
Well, I will say this: she has a very long face, so I don't know. And that 7 head, I don't know what to do with what's going on with that either. So,
oh, R.I.P. Andy McDowell. Oh, wait a minute, she's not dead yet.
Oh.
Join
Yeah, this has
Joaquin
got-
Joaquin Phoenix.
So
Who else have I
we-
claimed was dead that wasn't yet? I can't remember.
I don't know. You're probably the provider of those fake dead news.
Yeah. We've proven that news sources pull their headlines straight from our podcast. So the next thing you're going to see on BuzzFeed is the article will be like, people you didn't realize were dead, and it's going to be all the people I mentioned.
About BuzzFeed. Is there anything you don't see on BuzzFeed? I'm pretty sure they have like thousands of people writing articles about everything.
Someday.
Mostly just listicles.
Okay, we make goals for this podcast sometimes, things that we want to achieve, and they're modest. It's not like we're saying we're going to be like featured at like a podcast festival someday, but who knows? We'll say things like it'd be cool to be like invited, like, or given press credential. I can't even say it. Given
You're getting
press.
choked up on it
I am. It does choke me up. Given press credentials at like a nerd convention or something like that, but. I think I'm going to change that. My goal is that someday I will be quoted in some article that people write on, even just a blog, not even like an official outlet. According to Justin Krutzinger of Nerd News Cafe, Andy McDowell passed away.
Getting firsthand reports as he's at her gravesite.
Yeah.
He dug himself.
Yeah. It's going to happen. I don't care if it's fake news or not.
Well, I would like to... Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you want, I can start up a live journal or something and quote you. I can make this dream come true, or fire up Angel Fire or some crap.
Angel Fire.
We mentioned those two sites way too much.
I was a king of live journal back in the day.
I just wanted to add to the Andy McDowell crowd.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's Sarah Jessica Parker. Ugh.
Horse face.
I don't think.
Exactly. I think she should be on was it
BoJack Horseman? Oh,
the reason I say that is she would be the perfect girlfriend because they look the same.
Ooh.
They don't get the animator at all. I mean, she's ready to go. I mean, that's CGI Roger Rabbit style going on there.
I'm not really going to jump in on this because I don't think there's a debate about Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah,
I just want to put the nail in it. Let's tack this one to the wall to make sure everybody knows.
Yeah, there's an episode of South Park about Sarah Jessica Parker. So I'm pretty sure that debate has been decided.
Unless they have a show where her jaw unhinges and she swallows people like, boa constrictor style, I don't know that it would be totally accurate. Because that's how I feel she is. Like, she just...
God. Hey,
I don't even know what to say to that.
I'd like to invite us all over to Comic Book Corner. Sorry, just trying to move on. I felt like we were...
No, that's fine. Do not apologize.
We were headed to a place that I did not want to go to. Guys.
No one does.
I know it's been a couple weeks. So it might be a little dusty. We might have some cobwebs over in Comic Book Corner, but that's appropriate because Halloween is coming. So we're just going to say that the cobwebs are part of the decorations. But I wanted to tell you about a couple upcoming comic book series that I personally am excited about. According to GeekTyrant.com, a new Back to the Future comic will explore the final line spoken in Part 3 and focus on Doc Brown's adventures. So if you remember... For those of you who watched Back to the Future 3, I realize this is considered the least of the franchise. But Doc shows up at the end in a super amazing train engine, hover, converted, whatever machine he was in. And he's got Clara with him, and they've got kids, right? Jules and Vern. And I guess the thought is that they're just going to be exploring time forever. They're just, who knows where they're going. So... it really does kind of leave it open for all kinds of adventures for Doc Brown. So I'm pretty excited. I think that'll be cool. I like more Back to the Future, so I'm not going to complain about it. And this seems like a fun way to kind of explore that because, every comic could be a different point in time, a different adventure. I think it'll be cool. So I'm down.
Absolutely. Definitely a lot still unexplored in that universe. And like you said, I'm always down for more Back to the Future. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had I don't know how many weeks ago it was, the where they did the whole comic series on Biff Tannen, and they kind of followed him around and how that panned out. You kind of didn't get that side of the story with the Back to the Futures, and it was pretty cool. I only got through 3 issues, and I know they've got some more. I haven't read the rest, but it was kind of crazy how he just kind of turns dark.
Oh,
how we
that
get
was
to that
brutal.
That not that alternate 1985. So yeah, just in those 3 issues, it's like ooh. So this will be interesting. Like I said, I'm with you. I'm all about some more Back to the Future. I don't know that I hated the third one. It was just kind of like, okay,
Compared to the first two, the third one felt kind of flat. But if it didn't follow 1 and 2, I think everybody would have been perfectly fine with it. It just had big shoes to fill.
It did.
There were some elements in 3 that I really liked. There were some parts that I could have done without, but I still enjoyed it. I still feel like I don't think it was like I don't think it put like a negative cloud over the entire series or anything like that. I thought it was all right, but I like that Marty goes around telling everybody he's Clint Eastwood. I think that's pretty funny. But
well, if you remember, that's after a movie he told everybody he was Calvin Klein.
Yeah, exactly.
Marty McFly was the first identity theft. I just realized.
Catch me if you can.
The question is, when he went back in time telling everybody he was Clint Eastwood, did that eventually inspire Clint Eastwood to be Clint Eastwood? Who knows?
I think he died on a train, so I don't know how many people that would have inspired.
That's what they thought. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So this comic book series is going to introduce a new idea. It's another plot device that they haven't introduced in the movies or anything else. Apparently, there's going to be kind of like a secret lab that Doc Brown reveals in this series, and basically the writers explain that in the first Back to the Future movie, Doc Brown's truck opens up, the DeLorean comes out, and Marty, is surprised. He's never seen this thing. So the question is, Marty seems to be always hanging out at Doc Brown's lab, so where was he building the DeLorean time machine? If it wasn't there, Marty would have seen it. So there must be a secret lab somewhere, and that's where they're gonna kind of use that as like a central hub of the story. So that's kind of interesting.
It's behind that giant speaker.
Yeah, it could be.
Obviously. Well, you know what I have to say to that? Great Scott.
Right. I will say this.
From the movie.
I will say this. Christopher Lloyd did not phone it in, I don't think, in any of those movies. I think he gave the best performance he could possibly give in all 3.
Oh, man.
He always brought it.
He was great. So, excited about that. Another comic book series I'm pretty excited about. This is also from Geek Tyrant. Joss Whedon is writing a Buffy the Vampire... Juice Whedon is writing a Buffy the Vampire spinoff comic about young Giles. And I think when we were talking recently about like what series would we like to get more of or revisit, Buffy the Vampire was one of the ones that I brought up. So I'll take it in comic book form. I'm pretty excited about that.
Mm-hmm. And Joss and Buffy the Vampire Slayer in particular have had, I guess, a proven track record of having success telling season 8, for example, in comic book form, and it was done very well. So this is exciting.
Yeah. And apparently
it's a big world. So, I mean, there's a lot going on in that world as far as content, I think.
Absolutely. And this is just going to be, it's a short one. It's a 4 book series. So it's easy to consume. It's not going to go on forever. And it's the first time that Jaws will be writing for the Buffy the Vampire series since the first couple issues of Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 9. So
okay, I was curious if Joss was going to be writing it. So it sounds like he is.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. That's something I will probably consume starting in February of 2018. So right in time for Ash versus the Evil Dead. We get Buffy the Vampire's Giles #1. So that's awesome. It'll be apparently when he's like a teenager. And Giles, I think that's interesting because he's a character, we meet him when he's a middle-aged man. So, and obviously he's got a long history of doing the things that he does. So, fired up about that. And I guess I might be the only one considering you guys seem to be kind of quiet. But that's okay.
No, I just didn't have anything to add to what you said. We are introduced to Giles, when he's further established in his life. So I am curious to see, how he got to that point. Yeah. Like Matt said, there's just so much in this universe that can be told from a story that we just don't know. So could be cool.
Yeah. So that's it. I just wanted to bring up those 2 things for today. Next week, I'll be a little more traditional with my comic book corner. Today, I just wanted to get to those 2 things because there's something that both Landon and I want to talk about, and I know we're going to take a little more time than maybe typical talking video games today. So make room because I think, scoot on over, comic book corner. because I think
get out of here.
I think it's time to talk about a little bit of open beta gameplay, and I'm talking Star Wars Battlefront 2. Landon, tell me what you have thought about your experience with the open beta so far.
This has actually kind of moved my expectations in the wrong way.
Really?
For this game. Yeah, after playing the beta, this to me feels like a game that I'll get when it's like $30. Like it's a very pretty game, but just to me, like my beta experience has pushed me in the wrong direction when it comes to this game. It still feels like the first Battlefront. I do like that there are now classes, and each class does something different in theory. But like, I just maybe it was the group I was playing with. Maybe it was just the mindset I was in at the time. But I did not really have all that much fun.
Okay, interesting. So,
what about you, man?
I'm going to be a little different. I actually enjoyed what I played of it. So, did you focus mainly on multiplayer, or did you try any of the arcade?
I was mostly multiplayer. I will say I did enjoy the arcade when I messed around with that. Just going or playing by myself against a bunch of bots. I thought that was fun.
Okay, so let's talk. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the different options you have, because obviously not everything is open in beta. It's actually very limited right now.
Very, yeah.
So. If you do multiplayer, you can do a strike, you can do a starfighter battle, and then you can do there's another what's the other mode? The assault, right?
Yes.
So strike, starfighter, and assault. I think the assault is like the all-out warfare mode. I actually didn't try that one. I was mostly playing strike, but I did play starfighter once. And then on the arcade side, you can do single player or you can do co-op, but there's only two modes. You have to be dark side, and it's either your Darth Maul or an elite battle droid, and you have to kill a certain amount of people with and you can't go longer than like 20 or 25 seconds between kills, and you have to get like 25 kills. Or you can do a I can't think of what the other one's called. I'm gonna have to look it up, but it's more of your traditional the team to 40 kills first wins kind of mode. So, and in that one you're dark side, and so you're battle droids and you're fighting clone troopers and officers. Yeah, I would say the arcade mode I did both single player and co-op. My son played with me on that one. And arcade is a little too limited to even get a taste of. Darth Maul is pretty cool, but one thing I didn't like about playing with him is there's no block feature at all. So you are constantly open damage. Like in the previous game, when you were playing with a hero that used a lightsaber, you could at least block. So you weren't just constantly open to laser blasts. There's no way to do that in this one. So you just got to kill people and try to avoid getting shot as best possible. I felt like the droid was hard to play with. I don't know if you tried him out, but I died pretty quick with him.
Mm-hmm, yeah, the droids feel very breakable to me, which I guess they're supposed to. They're droids, but it's just like, and even you talk about the hero classes and the special special characters you can get. Like I got an assault droid. I got lit up and just destroyed almost immediately. So like again, maybe I just suck at this game, but I'm not that impressed with what I played in the multiplayer. But it's like I liked the arcade aspect of it. I mean, what we did get to see, like you mentioned, a whole lot of it is still locked because it's an open beta. But like I thought it was okay. Like I honestly enjoyed arcade mode more than I did the multiplayer stuff.
So we're opposites on that, because I enjoyed multiplayer better. I did a starfighter battle, and I was the one that I was dark side. You do have the option to be a TIE fighter, TIE bomber, or TIE interceptor. And then the way that it works, instead of finding the icons in the map so that you can become a vehicle or a hero, you build up points throughout the battle, and then you can turn those points in to spawn after you die, to spawn back in as either a starfighter or a hero. So in the starfighter battles, you can choose to be the Slave One or Boba Fett, or not Boba Fett, that's Boba Fett's ship, or Darth Maul's ship, which I can't remember what it's called. But I never did get to try either one of those. But I was mostly playing TIE interceptors, and I'm just going to tell you, I'm pretty good at Starfighter battles, so I was tearing people up, and I felt like, man, visually, like you said, it's gorgeous. It's
a pretty game,
very very visually stunning.
The one level, I think it's on Naboo or Coruscant or whatever. The foliage, like just the leaves falling off of trees. You could see individual leaves fall in front of you. I mean, this is a gorgeous game.
Yeah, the strike mode I was playing on, one of the maps was Maz's Palace, and so I was on the light side, and we were supposed to be defending a package that the battle droids were trying to come in and take and then deliver, like extract. And so I felt like the map was so for me, like you said, like when I started out, I did like my first round on multiplayer, I just got lit up. I was constantly dying. I maybe got one kill. I got a few assists, but mostly just like one kill, and I was just dying repeatedly, and that was very frustrating. But as I kind of got into it, I actually felt like the maps are easier to find spots and kind of hide, and if you play really strategically, you can do pretty well. I'm going to tell you, I went on a 7-kill streak with one of my battle droids. I was pretty excited about that, and 3 of them were like, and these weren't like I was picking people off from far away and they never saw me. A lot of it was like facing off, and so if you've got 4 choices when you go into a strike, whether you're light side or dark side. You can be assault, heavy, specialist, or officer, right? And so if you go assault, you've got like kind of a medium, like a repeating firearm that does like medium damage, medium range, that sort of thing. And then if you press L1 and R1, you get a short range, like a shotgun kind of weapon that actually isn't just like a one-shot deal. It gives you a time limit, and that's how I got my 7 kills, because I ran into a situation where I went around a corner and there were like 3 guys coming at me, and I switched to that and went bam, 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 and took them all out, which was pretty awesome. But then, of course, you got like a thermal detonator, and then you've got what is this R1? I think it might be like a scout kind of a pellet or a dart, where if you shoot it, if you shoot it, it gives you like locations. You can see where the enemy is.
Which that was helpful for me. Honestly, one of my biggest drawbacks is, and again, it might have been on the screen I was playing because on a smaller scale, I had trouble seeing enemies. Like, is graphically, visually, like amazing as this game looks, like it looks so good. Like enemies and even my teammates kind of just blended into the background. So, and especially compared to like other first-person shooters like Destiny and Overwatch and Halo, they make it very obvious when you come across an enemy. Where in Battlefront, even the most recent Battlefront, it just like, oh, okay, well that guy killed me. I now see he's over there. Where before it's like I'd be staring right at him, and it's like I don't see anything.
Yeah. It can be difficult just based on there's a lot going on in the backgrounds of these maps too. So that can be like you've got you talked about Naboo on one of the assaults. Like if you're battle droids, you're supposed to be assaulting the palace. There are civilians running everywhere. Like so that can be a little bit distracting. Of course, everybody's trying to shoot the civilians. I don't think it actually lets you, but
no, you can't kill the civilians, but that doesn't stop everybody from trying to kill them every time.
They do. But similar to the Starfighter battle, so you build up points as you battle, and then when you die, you can go back in as the same class as you were, or you pick a different one. Or if you've got enough points, that's how you pick the heroes or the vehicles. So if you're the rebels, or excuse me, that we'll just say light side. If you're light side, you can pick like there's a Wookiee. It's not Chewie, but it's a Wookiee that you can pick.
Yeah, I thought it was Chewie. It is not. Just a Wookiee warrior.
Just a Wookiee, but he does have a bolt caster that he uses. I guess that's a stereotypical Wookiee weapon. You can also pick Rey. You can be Rey, which I thought was pretty cool. I saw some people playing with her. I never got up enough points to be Rey, but
yeah, I was going to ask if you were ever able to afford that character, because I never did.
No, I was able to. I was the Wookiee a couple times. That was fun. And then I tried a couple of the vehicles too, and I ended up. It's so hard on the strikes and assaults to be like a starfighter and providing air support, because I just crash into buildings.
Yeah, that was me too. It's like, oh sweet, I'm figuring out how to fly, and I died.
Yeah.
Right into the side of a building.
Which would probably be pretty accurate in real life too. Here comes air support, guys. Crash right into a building.
I'm going to get us there.
Yeah. But anyway, like after a couple rounds, I really did feel like I kind of got the hang of movement. And what it does too, this is different from in Battlefront 1, it would spawn, you had a partner that you were paired with at the beginning of the game. And every round, like when you died, you could choose to spawn in near your partner or not. And it was supposed to kind of encourage teamwork because this game really does want you to work as a team and help each other. What Battlefront 2 does is it partners you up with 4 people. So a total of 4 people, so 3 other people. So after you die, you pick your class or whatever you're going back in, and it doesn't try to wait until you get a balanced team. Like if you all pick heavy, you go in with 4 heavy people.
4 heavies, yeah.
Yeah, but it spawns you in as a group, and it does give you bonuses if you stay together. So I actually really like that. I think that's really cool. Of course, no one stays together, but you can try. And I don't know, like I do. One of my big frustrations about games like this in the past has been that you spawn in and then you're like forever away from where the battle's happening. And by the time you run there, you get shot by someone just randomly, and then you're back to running again.
Or by the time you get there, the battle's over.
The battle's over. This one,
everybody's already moved on.
This one actually kind of helps with that because if you do, you're all kind of running the same direction. So you will at least stay together till you get to the action, and then if you split up and die, your own fault. So I don't know. There were things I liked about it. I didn't really like playing the officer class that much. Specialist Matt would like because it's the sniper class, and there are a lot of maps. There are a lot of maps on Battlefront 2 that the 2 that I played were Maz's Palace and then the Naboo map. You definitely could play Overwatch if you wanted to on this game because, like, when you're with your group, they're going to run into the fray like maniacs. You can hang back and start picking people off if you're good at that kind of thing, which is something I don't think it was as easy to be a sniper in Battlefront 1 as it is in 2, at least for what I've seen so far.
It wasn't for me for that first one. I felt like you only had one choice, maybe one gun, maybe 2 guns.
Yeah.
It wasn't very accurate, and I mean, let's face facts here. Everybody was everywhere in the first one, so it's like you might get one person with that gun before somebody's like pow pow in the back of the head.
Yeah, and this one, I really do think you can do it. Like if you're good at a class like that, then this is going to work for you. I really like the heavy class. So with the heavy class, you've got like a really good, decent gun that's got decent range and damage. Your special weapon is a sentry gun, so you can basically, like, you can't really move very fast. You really need to use it when you're close to like a lot of action. So you pop this thing out, and it's just a repeating machine gun. You can mow people down with it. You also have the option to pop up a shield just right in front of you that you can fire through, which is really nice as well.
That was helpful.
Yeah, and then it's got kind of a shock grenade that he uses. So I like that class. I was using heavy probably the most and doing pretty well with it, but assault was good too. Specialist, like I said, I'm just not a sniper, so I wasn't great with it. And the officer, I just couldn't. I guess there's some benefits to being an officer, but you've got like a strong handgun, so he's good in close battle. I tend to. I know my limitations when it comes to first-person shooters, so I know that it's in my best interest to not go running like a maniac, Leroy Jenkins, into a fray. I need to stay back and try to pick my spots, so I need a gun with some range. So,
and I really wanted the officer class to work because he does have an ability. It's kind of a heal ability or a shield that you can give to teammates around. And I really wanted that class to work. But again, you talk about that gun. It's really good up close, but I'm kind of like you. I suck for a shot. It's like, and anytime I was close enough to give my partners boosts, I was dead before I could get it off. So it's like I really wanted that class to work, but it's just meh.
Yeah. There's a really cool preview you can watch when you open the beta, and John Boyega kind of does the intro and voiceover, and it talks about how, like, Battlefront 1 had 8 maps. This game's going to have 18. Battlefront 1 had, let's say, 7 heroes, and Battlefront 2 is going to have 30. They're really like blowing it out to where it's going to have a lot more options, a lot more variety, and you can't even play the campaign yet, and that's one of the big pushes for this game is that, people wanted a campaign, and you're going to be able to do that. So
John Boyega very famously was one of those people who publicly said, "Hey EA, where's my campaign?"
Exactly. So you're getting it. And Finn will be a playable character on this game too. So eventually, I don't think he'll be a launch day player. It sounds like he's going to be a DLC playable character. But Battlefront 2, all DLC is going to be free. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm still excited. This for me, it did not have the effect of kind of like making me feel like, well, maybe I'm not as excited as I was. I don't think it tempered my expectations at all. I'm still pretty excited about it. I want to get it, when it comes out, and maybe not day one, but as quick as I can. And I'm pretty fired up. I think it's going to be fun. Oh, I will say, so they have a reward system where you get crates for doing achievements or getting points.
Yep.
Ripped right from Overwatch.
Absolutely.
It's 100% like Overwatch. So you open a crate. Even the animation is similar to Overwatch. You open a crate, and then it just pops out 3 rewards, and then you have to go individually and look at them. It's no different than the Overwatch rewards. It's really funny.
And on another game, kind of taking that from Overwatch, one of the bigger releases of this week, Shadow of War, the new Shadow of Mordor's game. It has crates that you can unlock and also buy. So that's kind of weird that aspect's been introduced in that game.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I'm pretty excited. Matt, you're going to have to come up and try it if you get a chance.
Yeah, the beta's available on Xbox. I just haven't jumped on it. I haven't had an opportunity, so.
Yeah.
Hey, give it a shot, especially during the open beta. Like you got to love that price point. But I'm glad to hear that your expectations haven't been tempered playing the beta, because I know this is the game that you've been excited for, Jay.
I am still excited.
Good deal.
So, but that was it. That's all I'll say. I guess it's one of those things where they're not giving you much. You can kind of get a taste of what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like. Gameplay still feels pretty similar. One of the things I like is when you're moving, they've got like this, if you press circle, it does a roll now. And if you want to crouch, you have to be standing still to do that. I kind of like that, though, because it's a nice little evasive maneuver. If somebody, you're getting hit, you don't know where it's coming from, and you're running, you can kind of do a roll, and that might help you survive a little bit longer.
Get to cover.
Yeah. And I do like the new system for playing the heroes. The only problem is that I guess previously there was a chance, for anybody running on the map to come upon a hero icon. And it's like, holy crap, I'm going to, I happen to be the person close to this icon, and now I get to come in as Luke Skywalker and start destroying people. That's awesome. Now it's like more of a reward for people who are like the best players, because you got to build up the points. I guess that's okay, but I'm starting to worry that, am I ever going to get to play Rey? I would like to.
Yeah, I was going to say that's good in theory, but gamers like us, we might never get the opportunity to play as Rey or Darth Vader or Captain Phasma or whatever.
Yeah, so that might be the only downside. But I do like that they're really pushing the team aspect. And I wish there was multiplayer split screen, but there's not. So those are my thoughts so far. Get out there, try it. Tell us what you think. Nerd News Cafe.
Yeah.
TM. Trademark.
Ricky Bobby Inc.
So I guess now why don't we start talking about some hot and streamy?
Oh, yeah. It's time for my Peter Frampton Talkbox hot and streamy sound effect. I say that every week, and you've still yet to do it. What's up with that, man?
Because I can't make it work very well. I've tried.
You got it to work one week, didn't you?
It's really weird what I've been doing with it. I've done some very strange things with it, but it's not necessarily Talkbox.
Well, I'm just giving you crap. We do normally do this at the top of each month. It's a little bit late, so some of these shows will already be available to you on your streaming sites. When it comes to Netflix, we talked about it in the last episode, how there's a bunch of Netflix originals coming this month. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just off the top of my head, I'm looking at over 10 Netflix originals. The only one, like TV-wise, that I think you need to keep an eye out for, October 27th, Stranger Things 2 comes out. That's something that I think we're all super excited for, and I have a feeling we will binge almost immediately when it comes out.
Word.
Movies that have already come out on Netflix. Boogie Nights, that's a good one. Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
That is a good one.
That's such a fun movie. I Love You, Man. Kind of an underrated comedy with Paul Rudd and Jason Segel.
Let me admit, I watched that for the first time last night. And
what do you think?
Yeah, I loved it. I've never seen it before. I thought it was great.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Another fun movie, one of my personal favorites, Tommy Boy, is available on Netflix streaming. And for the ladies out there, Miss Congeniality and Miss Congeniality 2, Armed and Fabulous, is now available streaming on Netflix.
Oh, thank God.
Thanks for the full title.
October 3rd, which it's already out, Cult of Chucky, which I've been seeing a lot of positive buzz for online. Just like horror fans, as we like to say on this podcast.
Horror fans.
I've seen nothing but good things about this. You remember our buddy McKay from that we met at Free Comic Book Day?
Yeah.
And he joined us on our podcast. I've been seeing him talk a lot of really positive buzz about this online. So if you're a horror fan, check that out. Or if you're a whore, I guess check it out too. Let's see what else is coming. Movie-wise, this will be out by the time this episode posts, I believe, if I can read calendars correctly. Donnie Darko will be out just in time for Halloween, and just in time, October 13th, Friday the 13th, Netflix gives us Talladega Nights, the Bout of Ricky. You thought I was going somewhere else, didn't you?
Yeah, October you got me.
Yeah, you got to keep up with Landon during Hot and Streamy. October 17th, Patton Oswalt Annihilation special will drop on Netflix. Patton Oswalt is a funny guy. Let's see, October the 25th, The Hateful Eight, which it's a good movie.
I liked it.
It's a Quentin Tarantino movie, so they found some very creative ways to say the N-word. I'll give them that.
Gambit's in it.
He is in it, but it's a good Quentin Tarantino movie. You know what you're getting at this point in a Tarantino film. The 30th, Judah Freelander's comedy special, America is the Greatest Country in the United States, comes available. That's all for Netflix. HBO is bringing you The Terminator, the original, Jackass the movie. John Wick Chapter 2 is going to be available starting October 21st on HBO Go. The Sandlot, I love that movie. That's coming this month. For your Halloween watches, The Darkness, which came out last year, and The Purge Election Year also came out last year. But this is a movie that I did not get around to seeing. October 28th, Split comes out. So I can finally see James McAvoy in that movie, which I hear is pretty good.
It's pretty messed up.
Well, just in time for Halloween. Oh, and 50 Shades Darker, the unrated edition, is available on HBO starting October 14th. Amazon this month brings you Clueless if you want to relive the 90s. Jay, I'm talking to you. Fargo comes out. That's a good-ass movie. Just in time for Halloween. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Some more Halloween streaming coming to Amazon. American Horror Story Season 6. That is available on the 3rd. So as of now, Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2. Pet Sematary and Pet Sematary 2. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Blair Witch.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah, that drops on the 7th, so it is out. So if you're looking for some horror movies to stream, it seems like Amazon is really bringing it with that. Oh, and you remember how pissed I was that 30 Rock is gone from Netflix?
Right.
It's on Amazon Prime now.
We knew it. It would show up somewhere.
Or no, I believe that's Hulu. Hulu has that. So I am now watching that on Hulu. Also have the Kill Bill movies. That's fun. Halloween watches, let's see. Oh boy, they got some good ones. Amity Horror, Asylum of Darkness, The New Blair Witch again, Bubba the Redneck Werewolf. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm now intrigued. Cabin Fever, the new remakes of Carrie. Let's see, From Dusk Till Dawn. That's a fun movie. Let's see what else. Halloween H2O 20 years later, so you can watch Busta Rhymes fight Michael Myers.
That's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah.
And And then this is something exciting for me. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 13, 12. Count them 12 Godzilla movies are now available streaming on the Hulu.
I noticed that. One of them
is the 1998 Godzilla movie, but you take the good, you take the bad, and there you have.
You take them both, and there you have.
And there you have Hot and Streaming.
Yeah, nice.
I
don't get the strategy that Netflix employs when it comes to like their releases, like what they're going to put out on what dates. Because why? I don't understand why we're not getting more Friday the 13th when we have an October Friday the 13th. Like, how do you not put more of that out there? And then
I would only imagine it would be some like getting the rights, but I mean,
come on. Do you think it'd be difficult to get the rights to those movies? Really?
Especially right now. I mean, not only is it October, this is the time of year where everybody wants to watch scary movies and be scared. Like you mentioned, we have a Friday the 13th in October.
Yeah.
I mean, like just make it happen.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm just glad they got some freaking horror movies in there, or at least some frights. I mean, their usual rigmarole is like, one of those was The Sandlot. Why October? And then they, put out like Curly Sue and Born on the 4th of July, and then be like, what are we doing? What are you doing, Netflix? I feel like they have like massive like brain hemorrhages when it comes to like months that hold some kind of, movie partnership with a holiday,
I'm surprised we aren't getting like Elf and Bad Santa.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and then in December, we're going to get like Hocus Pocus and
exactly.
I don't know, insert Thanksgiving movie.
I was going to say, I'm surprised they didn't make a mistake and put out that Valentine's Day movie that's actually like a slasher film. They're like, hey, this seems appropriate. Oh, it's accidentally a horror movie. Well, happy accident.
Happy accident. Some of our favorite listeners have been called Happy Accidents, and we love you still.
I mean, they do put out a lot of movies that are horrible, and make them available to watch. So I don't know if that counts, but man, I'm just glad to see that they're at least listening to people going, hey, it's October. I want to watch scary movies. What are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, and if you want to put out a Christmas movie, put out Krampus at least. Like that.
There you go.
Yeah, happy
Krampus
medium.
Is fun. Yeah.
Drop it in November.
Isn't there's a Thanksgiving movie like with killer zombie turkeys or something? I think they could put that one out.
Thanksgiving.
There you go.
Yeah, like Jack Frost.
Yep, Jack Frost. Put all those
out there.
Harmon
loves that movie, Thanksgiving. There's a very graphic scene where the evil turkey decides to get busy with an adult lady.
Of course there is. That's great. I actually watched, I think I might have mentioned it on the podcast. I watched Zombievers one night on Netflix.
God.
Yeah. And that's time you can't get back.
Yeah. It's about as bad as you would imagine it was.
I was going to say, with a name like that, I'm imagining some stuff.
Yeah. It's pretty good, though. I liked it.
I want to look up Bubba the Redneck Werewolf. That just sounds awesome. Bubba the
I know we still have
Redneck Werewolf.
What is it? Dale and
Tucker.
Yeah.
But oh my god, this thing looks awful. It's a horror comedy. 6 out of 10 on IMDb.
Ooh, wow.
3.5 stars. I'm kind of surprised it's
Good
that
grief.
high. A lovesick dog catcher transforms into a ferocious werewolf to save his town.
Hold on. Is Larry the Cable Guy the star of that movie?
It really kind of looks like a Larry the Cable Guy werewolf. Like, one of the images is him. Oh my God, he's wearing a flannel shirt, a red hat that has 3 on it, so it's obviously going for Dale Earnhardt, playing PlayStation 2 with kids. And this, oh my God, the mask looks like they went to like Party City and got this.
I just want you to know, like, searching this, I don't know if it worked for you, but I only had to put in very few letters of werewolf after redneck, and it came up pretty quick.
Let's see. Dan Wilder says, lowbrow, complete ridiculous, and packed to the gills with heart.
Nice.
Good Lord.
Oh, this is awful.
It does have a 60% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, so.
You know what? Part of me wants to watch this.
Don't do it. Evidently, it's a comic book series, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's got a lot of comic books.
So it wasn't even an original idea.
No.
Yeah, so this went through a lot of thought process and saying, "Are we sure we want to do this?" Okay.
God, the costume is so awful.
I know.
There's a part that I don't know if you have this screenshot in your images, but it's like straight ripped from the freaking Teen Wolf, where he's got a hat on. He's looking in the mirror, going, "Oh, the surprise look." I'm like, dude, come on.
Very Teen Wolfy.
Yeah. Oh, it's not even that level of good. As far as costume.
I just found the image you're talking about. God.
Is it not?
Yeah, that's like straight out of Teen Wolf. God, that mask is awful.
Does he ever take that hat off?
Probably not.
Literally every image of him has this hat. Like there's one of him in bed with some girl and he's got a hat on.
While wearing his flannel shirt.
Absolutely. He that's one rule. He doesn't take off the shirt.
Or the hat.
Or the hat. Those are a no-go.
What the hell? So that's going to be available streaming at some point on one of these services I told you about. So everybody strap in. Bubba, the redneck werewolf, is on the prowl.
God. That looks great. Double feature, Bubba the Redneck Werewolf and then Zombievers. Follow it up.
Man, that right there has movie night written all over it.
I was about to say that has Walmart discount bin written all over it, where you get the double feature and you reach in that bin and that's what you get.
It's like, ooh, $5 Navy SEALs.
Make sure you got a cooler full of PBR and you're good to go.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, I can't do any more of this. I got to turn this. This is it's corrupted my computer. Goodbye.
Oh God! Apparently, the devil's in this movie too.
Of course.
God.
I'm pretty sure the devil made that movie.
You might be onto something.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's like the seventh seal being broken.
Okay, somebody get us back on track. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk about Bubba the Redneck Werewolf for the next 45 minutes.
Well, I can talk about a positive show, which is The Gifted.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
So I took it upon myself to watch something good because Inhumans kept coming up over and over again, and it's just like a discount at an Applebee's. You don't want it, and they keep shoving it in your face. Well, it's 2 for $20. I don't want it. Okay, so I walked away from that, and I watched The Gifted, which is Fox's kind of spinoff from the X-Men, or their kind of tangent show, as it were. I have to say, overall, like, it's really good. I'm really taken in by it. Granted, it's produced, I think, or directed. I think it's produced by Bryan Singer, which is known for numerous Star Treks. And
X-Men movies.
And X-Men movies. I mean, did I say Singer? I meant Fuller. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you said Bryan Singer.
I know. I have problems.
Yeah, I know. I've listened to the show before.
Yeah, you should have. I mean, you should know. I don't know one guy from another. It's really cool. I think it's a really cool show. They start you off in Atlanta, and basically the cops are hunting down what they call X gene mutations. Mm-hmm. They use the word mutants. Get ready for this word to be blown up. I mean, there is not a time we're not saying mutant.
They're just flaunting it, really. They're like rubbing it in Marvel's face. We can say mutant. We can say mutant.
Wear it out. You can't. So, I mean, it's really cool. As far as them being able to say that, because then it alludes to a little bit more of like this is actually a mutation instead of going, they're inhuman. But no, they had you start out. I mean, they're hunting people down, and they're trying to pull them. The people you get introduced to are, if I can remember the name here, you have, God, what is it? Eclipse, and then I thought this guy's name was Warpath, but that's not his name. His name's John Proudstar.
Oh, okay. A little more racist sounding.
Yeah, even worse. But he these characters look reminiscent of the people you meet at the very first of Days Past. So like the guy knows exactly when people are coming. He knows where they're at. That's what Proudstar can do. Eclipse has like these it's almost like Iron Man biological powers where he can shoot like rays out of his hand and burn things, and it's kind of cool. And then you meet Blink, which can make portals.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure she was in one of the X-Men. I want to say X-Men 3. I thought we saw this woman.
I'm pretty
She
sure.
did show up in one of them.
Yeah,
In
I've seen
which
Blink
one?
in a movie. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, these are characters you're kind of familiar with right off the bat. And then they had, I don't know what I think her name is Strucker or something like that. Anyway, show goes on, and I don't want to spoil too much for you. It's really good. They do bring up the word Sentinel quite a bit, but it's more of a police force. But they do have kind of a Sentinel-esque robot that looks like the robots from the Matrix that were swimming around trying to grab hold of them. So, but the first episode leaves on a cliffhanger. It's really cool. I highly recommend it. It's very they mention the X-Men. You know, they mention the Brotherhood. They bring up different scenarios. You're basically following the Underground, and the family you start out with is kind of this family that they're just kind of dealing with what's going on in the world as far as mutants being gathered up and this, that, and the other. You kind of learn a little bit about the family, and then from there it kind of takes off. So it's just interesting how it works together. But I think it's got a pretty solid cast, and the visuals are really good. It does kind of have a good X-Men feel to it. I really like it. So the other show that I want to push, and I'd really like to hear what everybody else feels about this show. If you guys haven't seen Midnight Texas, watch it. It is crazy. I don't know how to explain it much more than it looks like a cross between Supernatural and Frighteners, if you guys have seen that movie.
Wow.
it's I don't even know what to say. You've got a guy who can see ghosts. He's living in a town with a witch and a vampire and a fallen angel, and they all just live in this town because it's the town that people don't mess with. They know that strange things happen there. And the way this show works is the guy that can see ghosts, kind of a ghost that is family to him, kind of led him there, said you'll be safe there. He comes to find out it's more than he bargained for, but at the same time, he kind of feels at home with all these kind of freakish people. And the reason this town's so important is it's kind of like a place where they say the veil between heaven and hell is very thin, where supernatural and energy is very strong in this Texas town. So it leads a lot of other things to find its way there that they have to deal with. And I mean, it's insanity. I don't know how to explain it. And there's a lot of fun stuff and a lot of serious moments. I think I really like it. I've enjoyed. I've probably watched 3 or 4 episodes of it, and I'm really digging it. So highly recommend both of those.
I can dig it.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting premise.
So definitely The Gifted, man. I really, it feels good to kind of get a Marvel show on a network that's a little, that's actually on network TV.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, Netflix does a great job, but we don't get the other side of what really Fox owns, and that's the X-Men and the word mutant. So I will say this: it has that kind of like feel that Logan had, as far as people having to run and hide and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely interested in checking out The Gifted, and your review of it has definitely made me more, more enthusiastic about it. So I'm definitely going to check it out.
Me too.
Like I said, there's a lot more to it. I just didn't want to spoil it. I think if you guys do check it out, I definitely want to hear what you have to say about it, because it's something else.
Will do. All right.
Yeah, I was just, I pulled up this article from the Nerdist, and it's kind of comparing The Gifted against the Inhumans, and talks about where The Gifted is taking the right steps, and Inhumans, has several missteps. It makes a lot of good points, but I think overall, it's really that one is really focusing on like the development of the characters and not trying to do too much and really telling like a compelling story about this like little family, and Inhumans is trying to do this huge story of this royal family and all this. It's very ambitious, but the problem was the previews of both of these, they're starting at the same time. They're running kind of side by side. We saw the previews kind of simultaneously. Every time I saw a preview of The Gifted, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. They've got something here. And it looked like it was more human. It looked like you could be, even though they're mutants, and they can say it, it looked more human. It looked more relatable. Like you could connect to it and really kind of like, sympathize with the characters. Inhumans never looked like that. They don't even act, in the previews, they didn't seem like they were human people like that you could relate to, and the costumes seemed bad, and it's just like, I'm sure it kind of talked a little bit about both of the shows probably having similar budgets, but you're going to have budget constraints, so why not manage that and make something smaller but really good, as opposed to trying to be so ambitious and do only being able to half execute it. Like, I don't know. I think that it's going to be interesting to watch the two play out kind of together and see how they go. But man, we were talking about it earlier. I can't think of the guy's name right now, but I could certainly look it up. But the guy who's running the Inhumans. Same guy who was responsible for Iron Fist and
Iron Fist.
Who pooched the punt on Iron Fist.
Yeah, and I just feel like, this might be 2 strikes and you're out, my friend.
I don't think that's how baseball works, but in this situation, okay.
Yeah, we're changing the rules for this guy.
Maybe they'll let him be a producer.
Oh, God. Well, producers don't actually do anything, so he can be an executive producer.
Yeah, you're talking about like Inhumans versus The Gifted. I think with Inhumans, and I mean, this is not even seeing the show and seeing how bad everybody says it is, but the fact, and I've said this before, you can't identify with it. The Gifted, easily identifiable, people being tracked down, your family being ripped from you. If your kid is in violation of whatever they say, you have they call them Sentinel Services. Can come in and take them. Yeah. I mean, they take them. They do whatever they want to. You never find them, so forth and so on. But that's easily identifiable, I think, in this time and age. Whereas the royal family of the mutant, or they can't even say mutant, the royal family of the Inhumans, they're just strutting around and they've got this big battle. We don't need. I mean, we really don't need a freaking superhero Game of Thrones. We don't need it.
Yeah.
No one wants it.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's Scott Buck is the guy's name, and I was holding back. Created by Scott Buck.
Sucks?
Scott,
oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
I was holding it back because I kept wanting to say Joe Buck, and I knew that wasn't right.
Oh, don't do that to that guy.
Yeah. So Scott Buck, thanks, but we're gonna go in another direction. That's the conversation. Somebody call Kathleen Kennedy and fire this guy.
Yeah, she has proven she has no fear in wielding that hammer.
Yeah.
Maybe they could do a show about her, and it's called The Cleaner, and she just comes in and fires people like she's the Bobs.
I'd probably watch that.
So, Scott Buck, what would you say you do here? Well, I've made Inhumans, and I really worked hard on Iron Fist. Yeah, we've seen those presentations. So that again, I'm asking, what do you do here?
Would you say you're proud of those things?
Are these achievements in your life? Accolades, as it were?
Yeah. I kind of feel like the conversation would be similar to when Idris Elba made his short appearance on The Office, and he was the manager there for a while, and and Jim would go in there and be like, well, I'm assistant to the regional manager, and he's like, do you want to keep this fake title? Is that important to you?
God, he was good in that short little stint.
Yeah, he was awesome. I love Idris Elba.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Heimdall for the win.
No, he is Stringer, man. He's always going to be String.
He bees whoever he wants to bees because he's Idris Elba.
And that's another episode where I bring up The Wire. Matt, you need to watch The Wire.
I know. I've heard this before.
All right.
Well, I think that about wraps up the show.
It wraps up all the segments except for we did have a poll last week.
Well, we did. I was just saying, all our little queries and filaments.
It's true.
Now it's time for the real meat.
It's time to whip out the poll. Watch it.
Oh my God.
So we were talking horror games last week.
Horror games.
And we threw out a few titles that for us were the scariest games that we feel like we've ever played. Matt said Fatal Frame. I said Silent Hill 2. And then Landon said original Resident Evil. We also put the other option out there and asked for suggestions. As it turns out, it sounds like the other is going to be what we need to talk about more because the three of us tied at 18% apiece. I don't think that's ever happened before. Three-way tie. So let's talk about
we're all
the
winners
responses.
and losers.
Exactly.
I think we're more losers in this case, but that's all right. So we got a few suggestions. One was Eternal Darkness, which was a mention on the previous show. This was brought up by a brother in podcasting, Nerd on Nerd podcast, said Eternal Darkness. So thanks for that and appreciate
Good taste.
Yeah, nice. We also heard Clock Tower 3. That came from I guess you would say he's the Senate. He's the Senate. He's the Senate or Matt said Clock Tower 3.
We'll just call him Matt, but the entire Clock Tower series, I mean, like, especially that first one back on the original PlayStation, like, that creeped me the hell out.
I never played any of the Clock Tower, but I looked it up after it was mentioned. It looked like it was a pretty creepy game. It's kind of funny looking at the old, like, PlayStation 2, like, horror games, looking those up now and seeing images. It's like, wow, those were some graphics, weren't they?
Yep. Look at all of those polygons stuck together. They kind of make a person thing.
That was a very, very digitized looking ghost. And then not Butch Jones at @not_Butch Jones replied to us.
That's great.
And threw out Gauntlet and said it wasn't scary, but it was adrenaline fuel. And I said, the game might not have been that scary, but that voice, Red Wizard is about to die, could be the soundtrack to my nightmares.
Blue Wizard needs mana badly.
Yeah. That was a pretty scary voice. Gauntlet's a fun game, man. That's another.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Still is, yeah. The original, the updated versions, I mean, it's still fun.
One of my favorites was Gauntlet Dark Legacy that came out on the Xbox. That was one I put a lot of multiplayer hours into, couch co-op on that one. It was good.
Nice.
So that's a good suggestion, too. So, thanks. There are a lot of good options out there. And, of course, we haven't played them all. But appreciate you guys chiming in on that. And
strong stuff this week.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we got any. Let's check the forum. No, nobody responded on the forum. Thanks, guys. You suck.
We do have a forum. Just a friendly reminder from me. Not so friendly from Jay, but, we have it.
I'll be in the middle. I dislike your choices, but please be on the forum.
Good cop, bad cop, medium cop.
That's right.
So I think the next thing to do would be to pick a winner because we did get several retweets this week. And somebody needs to win a digital comic.
Yeah, they do.
As promised.
It's what we do here. We give you free stuff.
All right, so let's pick a winner. I don't know if we can do the drum roll, Matt, since you're remote. I don't know if it'll work this time.
Let me see. Can you hear this?
It sounds awful. Don't do it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound...
Never mind.
Sounds...
What about...
There you go. And the winner of the e-comic is Matt and Janine at Matt and Janine. And their tagline is mainly Matt, but sometimes Janine too. You have won a digital comic. And this week it is Jean Grey, number 5. Congratulations. I hope you enjoyed Jean Grey. But if you don't, I'll tell you what your bonus content is. It is the first issue in the Rocket Raccoon series.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. That's kind of different back and forth, but yeah.
Yeah. And this is a cool cool comic issue for Jean Grey too. Psylocke is in it, and like a baby Nightcrawler is in it. It's pretty interesting. And at one point,
that would be a nightmare. A baby Nightcrawler,
yeah,
just teleporting around,
just bouncing everywhere.
God
Well,
dang it.
actually, they do have that character. It's called the Bamfs in Wolverine and the X-Men, and it's exactly what you would imagine: little monsters just blinking in and out of wherever they want to go.
At one point in this comic, Jean Grey uses her psychic abilities to like render Wolverine claws on herself, which is pretty cool.
Whoa.
So yeah, this is a cool one. This is a good series. I don't know if you guys are into the Jean Grey comic book series, and it's a spinoff from the X-Men Blue. So it's the Jean Grey from the past. She's a young Jean Grey, and trying to kind of avoid the inevitable fate of the Dark Phoenix. So she's kind of running from the inevitable. But it's good. I recommend it. Hope you like it. Matt and Janine, if you like it, I'd love to hear from you. Give us a review.
Absolutely. Head over to our forums and drop your own Ange review.
Mainly Matt, but sometimes Janine.
Now, I'm going to say this one is specifically for Janine.
Okay.
So take a back seat, Matt. This is Janine's comic.
We want to hear from Janine Grey. Hook it up.
Janine, good God.
Oh, goodness.
All right.
That was a stretch.
Landon, you said you had a suggestion for a poll this week. We want to keep it Halloween themed. So what are we going to be debating today?
I wanted to ask the question, what is a bad, scary movie that actually scared you? And this could be like a movie you saw recently, or in my case, it's going to be a movie I saw as a kid, but you just look back and you can be like, yeah, this isn't a good movie. This isn't scary. But for whatever reason, in the moment when you originally saw it, it scared you. So that's our question this week, guys. Do you have an answer to this?
Yeah, I mean, this is one that, for me, it has come to my attention when I watched this movie as an adult that it's not a scary movie. But when I was a kid, it scared the crap out of me. So my answer is the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, I know that movie, it was supposed to be like a horror movie, and I don't know if at the time it really scared people, but it certainly scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. And the thought of, like, Freddy being you couldn't go to sleep, he was going to be in your nightmares, there's no escape, that whole thing. And honestly, that was the movie that if my brother wanted me to stay out of his room, he would just put it on his TV, and I would not go anywhere near it. It scared me so much that when Will Smith released the song Nightmare on My Street, I didn't even want to listen to that song. So that's how much I hated Freddy. Yeah.
Well, Freddy really made an impact on your childhood.
Yeah, and then I watch it today, and I'm like, I don't know why this was scary, because it's kind of hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Freddy Krueger is kind of just like a very violent, real-life Looney Tunes cartoon.
Exactly.
And especially as the series goes on and they really start to lean into, Freddy's just a cartoon character. It it gets really fun. If you're a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street, there's actually a podcast from the Laser Time Network, Elm Street Nightmare. Go check that out. It's in the iTunes store. But Matt, do you have one?
Yeah, I had a couple, but I'm going to say The Woman in White. It was a TV movie. Basically, this kid gets locked in a closet and witnesses a ghost murder. Not like the ghost was murdered, but like a murder, and then she's ghosting it out and like in repeat. It's a Halloween-themed kind of movie. You watch it now, it's corny as crap, and you're kind of like, oh, I just kind of want to know who murdered this girl, but it wasn't very good, I would imagine. But I was a kid, I was like, oh God, I don't want to be locked in no storage closet. So it was pretty bad.
Well, for me, I made reference to it earlier. This is a movie I watched when I was a small child, and for whatever reason, terrified me. It was Ernest Scared Stupid. Yes, that Ernest.
I think yours is the best answer because
it is the best answer. It truly is. There's no way to follow that up. I'm glad he went last.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, who gets scared at an Ernest movie? This guy right. The premise was this ancient troll was released from his prison under a tree because I think Ernest like accidentally backed into it or something. Know what I mean? But so he comes back to life and he starts turning children into like wooden dolls. So me being of the age where if this was a real story, I would have been turned into a wooden doll, much like Jay and his fear of, going to sleep with Freddy. You couldn't stop this troll except with love, and that's what Ernest did. He defeat the monster with love. So I didn't realize that, and I didn't realize that all you needed was love. But that, to me, Ernest Scared Stupid, terrified me as a kid.
Did that one have
great.
Dr. Otto in it? The character that Jim Varney would do with his hand on his head.
I don't remember if that one was in it, but I do know he dressed up as the fat lady who was always wearing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was kind of a scary character too in some ways.
Mm-hmm. Man, I miss Jim Varney.
Yeah.
He's the greatest.
He was.
Why do I feel like I always bring up Jim Varney and then I get sad?
Well, he brought a lot of good memories to us, and I mean, that's one of my favorites though of the Ernest movies. That one is up there. I don't think, and I'm a couple years older than Landon, so I think when this one came out, I don't think I was afraid of it. I don't remember being afraid of Ernest Scared Stupid, but it's possible. I can't really remember thinking of it as a scary movie. I was afraid of the Gremlins as a kid.
Really?
Well, the first Gremlins was kind of there. There were some moments. I mean, like Billy's dad dies in the chimney.
Yeah. Yeah.
like that original. There's some moments where it's like, okay, this is a little much for a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Phoebe Cates' dad.
Yeah, there we go. Phoebe Cates. Not.
Yeah, because she tells this horrible story how he crawled down the chimney to be like Santa and he got stuck and he died.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do enjoy, if you guys watch Gremlins 2, she starts to tell another story like this in the other movie. They're like, okay, we got to keep moving on. Like they kind of dismiss it and make fun of their own movie. That's why I like Gremlins 2.
Yeah, Gremlin 2 is just full of like mocking itself, and I love when the Gremlins get in the movie projector, room and mess with the film. Oh, that's so great!
I can't tell you how many times I do in front of a lot and go bunny rabbit.
and then if you saw the theater cut, it would go to Hulk Hogan in the movie theater.
Yep.
Let me tell you something, brother. You need to put that movie back on, or I'm going to come out there, I'm going to go to the lobby and get some ice cold soda and hot popcorn, and I'm going to, like, it's just great. So great.
It was such a wrestling rant. It was so good.
Yeah. I mean, all he had to do was, and what you gonna do, brother, when Hulkamania comes up to the projection room and runs wild on you?
Yeah, so I think this is going to be another poll where we need the other option because we need people to chime in and tell us what non-scary movie scared you as a kid. I'd really like to hear that from people. That's a fun conversation to have. So,
no, this feels like an answer that might not fit in 140 characters. And if that's the case, head over to our forums, nerdnewscafe.com. Sign up on the forum, and you can talk and type as long as you want.
It's true. There is no character limit. # no underscore in my Gmail.
It's a terrible hashtag.
Yeah, I know.
And that's saying something on this podcast where we come up with really bad hashtags. # McElwain humped a shark. Allegedly.
Allegedly. I want to give a shout out to our current forum members, Thomas and Andrew. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you joining in.
Yeah, really. You get double points if you put your answer on the forum.
Double points.
Yeah, your vote will count twice.
Yep. So I think for the day, that's going to do it. Look for the poll out there on Thursday around lunchtime. So after, you get a little lunch in your belly, you're ready for a nap, listen to the podcast. We'll put you to sleep, and then you can wake up and vote. How about that?
That's plenty of time to think about the movie, too.
Yeah, while you're asleep, Freddy Krueger might kill you, but,
And if he does, make sure you are subscribed, because even after you're dead, your subscribe will still count to our numbers. And we greatly appreciate it.
Jeez.
Remember, 5-star review. That's the only option. You can only give us 5 stars.
Well, Matt, tell them where they can find us out there on the web.
Well, you can definitely find us on nerdnewscafe.com, where the forums are bright and shiny at the bottom. You can jump on there and just like we said, relate everything you want to relate or dictate to. You can also find us on Twitter at nerd_news_cafe. You can also find us on YouTube, Nerd News Cafe, and not hard to find there. And also Facebook page where we do post up the episodes if you're having trouble finding them for whatever reason. I don't know how that would happen, but that is on Facebook if that's your primary user of all your pods. Nerd News Cafe on there also. I think that about covers us. If you do have something that you feel like you don't want to share with others and that is a very lengthy letter of why we suck or awesome, we only read the ones that say that we're awesome, just to let you know. But you can hit us up on nerdnewscafe@gmail.com.
Actually, I would really love people to send us emails and go on a long rant about how bad we suck. I will read it on the air. Do it. I want to be
Airing
roasted.
our dirty laundry.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Boom, roasted.
Boomer. Oh, it will be
God.
Michael Scott style for sure.
Uh-huh.
Andy, you're gayer than Oscar. Boom, roasted.
I've been rewatching The Office this past. God, that's a show that really holds up.
It
You can
does.
rewatch it 100 times and the jokes are still funny.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim and Pam still make me teary-eyed with all their romantic escapades. That
Yeah,
doesn't
I
sound
just
good.
watched the episode where Jim and Pam kissed in the office, and Pam doesn't know what to do.
Oh my gosh! I hope it turns out okay for those two.
I know those two. I mean, they really are the will they, won't they of our generation.
Sam and Diane all over again.
Exactly.
Dun dun.
Jay, you have anything to plug before we get out?
I want to plug Halloween and Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us be the first to wish you a happy Christmas.
At the Croots.
Yeah, at the Croots. Twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ. That's where you can find me. I do have a website, buttmunchchips.com, buttmunchchips. Sit on your butt and munch. Every now and then I will post a podcast. Me and my buddy Hunter East, we have a recap show of HBO's award-winning series Game of Thrones, but we're kind of in a holding pattern because we don't know when it's coming back, and neither does HBO. But in the meantime, we have conversations in the Butt Munch Chips Variety Pack. The latest episode we had up is about video games, how we got here, and where we're going in the future, or where we would like to go in the future. It's a fun conversation if you want to get in on that. Twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ.
If you guys are still watching Discovery, we just dropped an episode the day before this day. It's at Tracking Trek Pod. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, it's Tracking Trek Podcast. We're following the voyages of Discovery, talking about what's going on, what happened, just like we talked about yesterday, that thing that happened and that guy. Oh my gosh. Do you remember? You don't because you didn't listen. You need to listen now. So jump on there. Me and Thomas kind of go over the episodes and give our own thoughts and feelings upon it. I'm old school. He's new school. If you like either one of those tracks, you'll enjoy the show. So hit us up.
If you're middle school, you probably won't like any of it.
You might like Star Trek. I don't know.
So for Matt Weaver and Justin Kritzinger, my name is Landon Doan. We thank you for joining us on another edition of Nerd News Cafe Stir It Up. You've been great. We've been Nerd News. Good night.